Baldoni's legal counsel just sent us raw footage from It Ends With Us that proves Blake Lively is not being honest in her lawsuit.
Anyone. I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
Justin Baldoni is back with even more jaw-dropping footage. And let's just say, Blake's story is falling apart fast. He's doubling down, armed with receipts, and it's not looking good for Blake. It all began when Justin shared some hard-to-watch behind-the-scenes clips from It Ends With Us. Now, Blake's response is only digging her deeper into trouble. From PR disasters to legal drama, things are spiraling fast. And you won't believe how messy it's getting.
Lawyers for actor Justin Baldoni showed unedited footage from the filming of It Ends With Us. The lawyers say the video's evidence that his co-star Blake Lively's allegations of harassment are unfounded. But
Blake Lively must be feeling anything but lively right now. Grab your popcorn, folks, because it's time to expose the lies. Let me set the stage for you. Blake has this habit of playing the victim whenever things don't go her way, and people are honestly getting tired of it. This whole drama with Justin seemed like her attempt to chase clout and pull at people's heartstrings for sympathy. But she may have bitten off more than she could chew this time. Justin isn't just sitting quietly anymore. Nope, he's coming in hot with receipts. And they're not looking good for Blake. As promised by Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, the evidence has started rolling out, and it's slowly dismantling every single claim Blake made about him. Now, I don't know about you, but these receipts are being dropped like a master plan, starting with less intense screenshots and slowly building up to even more explosive videos. And honestly, I'm betting that the next bombshell is going to knock Blake off her feet. First, they released that heartbreaking voice note of Justin talking about being locked in the basement during the premiere. Then came the shocking photo from the basement, and now they've just dropped a whole video that completely shuts down her claims about him being inappropriate on set. Let's dive into the exact moment Blake claims Justin messed up.
Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Miss Lively out of character as himself.
I think that's cute. You guys are really cute.
I think it's more than cute.
At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." Mr. Baldoni was caressing Miss Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles.
I'm probably getting a spray tan on you.
It smells good.
Well, it's not that.
When Blake included this footage in her lawsuit, she claimed it was on mute because it was supposed to have music playing in the background. All we had was her word for it. Until now. Blake didn't know Justin had the original, unedited footage. And now we can hear everything that was actually said in the room. It's not just conversation between the two of them, but you can literally hear the entire exchange happening around them. So far, it's looking like there was no inappropriate behavior at all. In fact, both of them were off script, just having random conversations that could have been used to add some extra flavor to the scene. And remember, Justin wasn't just acting. He was also directing the film, which explains the relaxed, unscripted chatter. If anyone was out of character here, it wasn't just Justin, it was Blake too. But hold up, before we dive into what these receipts are about to do to Blake's rep, let me ask you something. Have you ever Googled your name and been shocked by how much personal info is out there? Old addresses, phone numbers, and emails that you thought were long gone? It's all sitting there, ready for anyone to find. I know someone who discovered their name, phone number, and an old address listed on a shady data broker site, and trying to remove it was a nightmare. They eventually paid for a privacy service, which cost a fortune. It's unsettling how easy someone can access your private details without you knowing. That's where Aura comes in. Aura helps remove your personal information from risky data broker sites that sell your info to scammers and identity thieves. But it doesn't stop there. Aura monitors the dark web for signs of your data being misused and alerts you immediately if anything suspicious pops up, so you can act fast. Aura also offers up to $5 million in identity theft protection coverage and real-time alerts for financial fraud. Plus, you get a secure VPN, antivirus, and a password manager all in one app. Don't wait until it's too late. Click the link in the description or visit aura.com/BingeCentral for a 14-day free trial. Stay safe and keep your personal info where it belongs. Now, for those who may have missed the whole accusation against Blake, let me break it down for you. It all started when Blake Lively threw some serious accusations at Justin Baldoni, claiming that he was behaving inappropriately during the filming of It Ends With Us. She painted him as crossing some major boundaries, saying he acted unprofessional in ways that made her uncomfortable. At first glance, it seemed like a pretty serious claim, until the details started coming out. One of the biggest points Blake brought up was that Justin had been in her trailer while she was breastfeeding. She made it sound like it was a shady situation, suggesting that Justin was acting inappropriately. But then the plot thickened. Text messages came to light showing that Blake had actually invited him into her trailer, texting him, "I'm breastfeeding, come over." That's a big twist, right? If Blake was uncomfortable, why was she the one inviting him over? The whole story didn't add up, and that was just the start of the unraveling. Blake then accused one of the producers of showing her inappropriate photos. When they looked into it, though, it turned out that the photo Blake was referring to was an artistic portrait of one of the producer's business partner with their newborn in a bathtub. Hardly what Blake was making it out to be, especially when the conversation around the photo had been about home births. It was nothing sinister, but Blake seemed to spin it into something much darker than it actually was. Then Justin didn't just sit there and take it. He came out with receipts, and honestly, that's when things started to shift. As soon as Justin started defending himself with actual evidence, it was clear that Blake's claims were starting to crumble. First, there was the emotional voice note from Justin where he talked about being locked in the basement during the premiere. That was followed by an actual photo from that basement showing the situation exactly as it was. But the real kicker? Justin dropped a video that completely shut down Blake's accusations about his behavior on set. It was the kind of evidence that made Blake's claims look more and more like fabrications. Despite all this proof coming to light, Blake didn't back down. Instead, she took the battle to court, filing a lawsuit against Justin, accusing him and his team of leaking information to the media as a way to retaliate against her. She even asked for a gag order, hoping to shut Justin and his team up. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Blake herself had worked with the New York Times to publicly accuse Justin in the first place. So after she worked with the press to attack his reputation, now she wants to stop him from defending himself. It doesn't make sense. Now, instead of taking a step back, thinking things through, and maybe even admitting that she was wrong, Blake's team clearly didn't think that route was worth exploring. Instead, they've doubled down, which, let's be real, is making things look even worse for her. I mean, can someone get this woman a PR team that knows how to play the game? Blake's been out here trying to twist the narrative to make herself the victim, but it's like every time Justin drops new footage, the plot thickens. First, she said Justin wasn't giving the full context, but now that he is, well, she should probably be a little worried. She went on record claiming that when she spoke up about his alleged inappropriate behavior, he responded with something along the lines of, "I'm not even attracted to you." Ouch, right? But honestly, that's a classic Blake move. Flip the narrative, act like the poor, helpless victim, and hope everyone buys it. This isn't the first time Blake's done this. In fact, it seems like a pattern. She turns a situation around to paint herself in the best light, even if that means spreading half-truths, or let's call it what it is, lies. And this time, with Justin coming in strong with receipts, things are definitely backfiring on her. Now let's talk about this whole body-shaming accusation. Blake claimed Justin asked her about her weight for a scene where he was supposed to lift her, and she painted it like he was body-shaming her. But here's the thing, Justin was asking to make sure he didn't hurt his back. He wasn't concerned about her weight in a negative way, but rather in a health and safety kind of way. But Blake twisted that around, and now here we are. Meanwhile, she's joking about his nose, which is kind of ironic, don't you think? She didn't stop there. There's more footage. Blake's complained about Justin allegedly making her uncomfortable while they were filming a scene. But if you actually watch the footage, it's clear she's enjoying herself. They're laughing, joking about his nose, having a good time. So much for all the claims of discomfort, huh?
I feel so nosy.
I know.
I noses.
And my nose is so big.
Yes. I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of noses, let's just throw in a little fun tidbit. Blake's never confirmed whether or not she's had a nose job, but the changes to her nose over the years have definitely caught people's attention. Some even think she's had rhinoplasty, which has made her nose more defined and narrower. So she's throwing shade at Justin's nose, but who's really throwing shade here? Now, this isn't the first time Blake has been shady to another co-star. Over the years, there's been plenty of talk and even multiple video compilations on YouTube showing Blake's mean girl side. Trust me, the evidence is out there. One of the most talked about examples of Blake's drama was with Anna Kendrick during the filming of their 2018 thriller, A Simple Favor. From the start, rumors of a feud were floating around, and it all seemed to begin with something Anna said back in 2016. In an interview, Anna made a comment about how she'd be terrible at being the type of fan-loving all-American superstar like Taylor Swift. She basically said she wasn't going to sugarcoat things like Taylor does, and instead, she was going for a more snarky, dry, and cynical vibe with her fans. It wasn't exactly aimed at Taylor, but that little remark ended up setting the stage for some serious tension with Blake, who, as we know, is Taylor's BFF. Fast forward to when Blake and Anna were cast in A Simple Favor, and they had to work together. But honestly, we didn't get a clear picture of their dynamic until the press tour began, and oh boy, the tension was real. There was one interview where the awkwardness was so thick you could cut it with a knife. They were talking about compliments, and Blake even threw in a story about her mom's weird way of expressing things. It was one of those moments where you could just tell something was off.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
Yeah. Look at the body language experts analyzing this right now. How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
But the real tea, according to hosts Claire and Ashley on the Celebrum Memoir Book Club podcast, by the time filming wrapped up, Blake and Anna weren't even speaking to each other anymore. They weren't exactly the besties people might have assumed after watching their public appearances. And get this, it turns out the behind-the-scenes drama was worse than anyone realized. An insider who worked at the studio spilled the beans, confirming the feud rumors were true. Things were so bad that the studio actually had to step in and have a serious chat with the two of them, telling them to pretend to be friends during the press tour. Apparently, Anna was super competitive with Blake and even insisted that her cleavage be photoshopped to match Blake's size on the A Simple Favor poster. One producer described the tension as unbearable, and they had to find ways to work around it while filming. Now here's where things get even wilder. Despite all the drama, the studio decided to go ahead with A Simple Favor 2, and fans were shook because these two hadn't even been in the same room for years. According to sources, Anna was hesitant about returning, but the director, Paul Feig, was determined to make it work. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Old tensions flared up again, and production reportedly became so toxic that they had to keep Blake and Anna apart just to avoid any blow-ups. Imagine the tension on set. And now, the sequel might never even see the light of day. Apparently, Blake is refusing to promote the film, and with her ongoing legal issues with Justin Baldoni, it's just adding fuel to the fire. Amazon, who spent major coin to buy the movie, is reportedly shelving it indefinitely. Despite early test screenings getting enthusiastic reviews, fans were hyped to see Blake and Anna back in action, but it looks like their off-screen drama has tainted the whole thing. And if you think the receipts stop there, well, let's dive into another major drama between Blake and Leighton Meester, especially during their time working together on Gossip Girl. While their on-screen chemistry as best friends, Serena and Blair, had fans hooked for 6 seasons, the reality off-screen was far less friendly. One of the most shocking moments that came to light was when Blake allegedly mocked Leighton for being born in a prison. Yeah, you heard that right. It was a sick burn that many people found not only unnecessary, but also pretty uncomfortable, especially considering the history between them. If you
got a few of them.
Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
That was a lot of information about cages, and I'm sorry, I was still thrown off by that
He
stuff.
was like, wow.
Who else didn't want to act in a cage?
Well, some of them
required a
started.
cage.
If you've ever watched promotional interviews or behind-the-scenes footage from the show, it's pretty obvious what the producer was getting at. There was no deep friendship vibe between them. Their interactions often felt more like they were just co-workers rather than close friends. One particular moment from a promo interview stands out. Blake tried to crack a joke, and Leighton just let the awkward silence hang there, not even bothering to save her. And it's not just Leighton who's had issues with Blake. Armie Hammer, who once played Blake's love interest on Gossip Girl, also had his own heated moment with her. In fact, he was fired from the show after an altercation with Blake during Season 2 filming. In a 2017 appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Armie was asked who the biggest diva on the set was. While he didn't name names, his nervousness made it clear. It was Blake. He admitted that it was a tough show to film, and things got so bad that he didn't even finish all the episodes he was supposed to film. Yikes. And it doesn't end there. Blake also seems to have ruffled some feathers with Hugh Jackman's ex-wife, Deborah Lee. After Hugh split with Deborah, Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, were accused of siding with Hugh. Deborah wasn't exactly thrilled with that. In fact, she's reportedly upset with Blake for not supporting her, especially after Hugh's new relationship with Sutton Foster became public. Deborah felt like Ryan and Blake were in the know about it and wasn't too happy about the whole situation. Now, with all this being said, some fans were shocked to learn that Blake was accusing Justin of inappropriate things when, in fact, Blake's own reputation for being mean and shady has been well documented. But now that Justin's dropped the receipts, it looks like the fans who believed him from the start are winning. But hold up, the plot thickens, because Blake has responded to the leaked footage in what many are calling the most tone-deaf response she's ever pulled. So here we are with both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni claiming that the leaked footage proves their point. Blake's legal team issued a statement saying that every time new footage comes out, it's just more proof of what they've been saying all along. Her attorney even went as far as calling the footage a manufactured media stunt on Justin's part. Like, wait, what? Blake's team is now flipping the script, trying to claim that the video supports everything they've been saying, and it's honestly just hilarious to watch. So what exactly did Blake's team find so offensive in the scene? Well, according to her lawyer, they're saying the video shows Justin Baldoni leaning in towards Blake attempting to kiss her, rubbing his face on her neck, flicking her lip, and telling her how good she smells, all without her consent and with no intimacy coordinator in sight. Sounds like a pretty steamy scene, right? But Blake's side is trying to spin this footage as confirmation that Justin has been out of line all along. And guess what? The internet's not buying it. They're like, girl, are we watching the same video? Experts are now chiming in, analyzing the footage, and guess what? Most are saying that the actions in the scene actually support Justin's side of things. A good actor knows that not every nuance is going to be in the script, especially for scenes like this. The forehead kiss, the rubbing his face on her neck. These things can happen naturally during a scene. It's about creating the right atmosphere, the chemistry, the vibe. And if you watch closely, Blake's got her hands all over Justin's neck at one point too, swinging around like she's enjoying the moment. But here's the kicker. Blake is trying to act like she was uncomfortable. But from what we can see, they were laughing, joking, and talking about Justin's nose. If she was so uncomfortable, why the jokes? People are calling out the whole situation for what it really is, a Hollywood mess. On the flip side, Justin's staying strong, standing 10 toes down with his legal team. They dropped the footage to counter Blake's claims and even promised to release more. In a shocking twist, some of the actions that Blake is accusing him of, well, they're literally in the script. And apparently, Blake didn't even bother to read the book the scene was based on. At this point, it's clear that the drama is way bigger than the red carpet scandal from the movie's premiere. We've got lawsuits flying, accusations left and right, and Blake's out here trying to convince the world that a simple movie scene was something way more sinister. No wonder Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift are radio silent on the whole situation. Rumor has it, Blake got straight up iced out at the Golden Globes earlier this year. Insiders are saying she wasn't even welcome, and now with Amazon pulling the plug on A Simple Favor 2, it looks like Blake is seriously burning some major Hollywood bridges. If you thought things couldn't get worse, they totally just did. And let's not even get into the fact that Justin is asking for a cool $400 million in damages. He's in a full-on war zone, fighting hard because his reputation is on the line. At the end of the day, it's giving he said, she said. But if this keeps up, it might just turn into he wins, she loses. Fans are already picking sides, and right now, it's not looking too good for Blake. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Blake was actually telling the truth, or do you think Justin has more receipts? Drop your thoughts below.